Hello and welcome. My name is Rachel Coletta, and in today's video, I am going to be answering the question, where did my guides go? Why can't I connect with my guides anymore? This is a common question. This is something that comes up frequently where, depending on where you're at in your intuition development, maybe you're receiving full-on messages from your guides, or maybe you're at the place where your guides are speaking to you through a lot of synchronicities, and it seems like things are flowing and they're making sense, and you're receiving all kinds of universal chatter or chatter from your guides, and things are clicking, and then all of a sudden, radio silence. And you're left wondering if you did something wrong, if you're messing something up, where your guides went. Maybe they just are on a holiday and left you hanging, or what is going on? And so I first want to start off by assuring you that this is something that we all deal with. Even professionals go through these cycles where guidance comes through really strong and then it gets a little more quiet. The reason why I have this information to share with you is because I've been through this process multiple times myself, and I've learned so much through this process. And when I've come back to the place where I've been able to receive more guidance again, I've talked to my guides about this process and learned some of the things that are going on behind the scenes, why this can happen. And so now I would say that for me, this happens pretty infrequently, and when it does happen, it's more like the dials getting turned down as opposed to complete radio silence. But I've been through my fair share of those circumstances. So rest assured that you are not alone, that you're not doing anything wrong, that there are real and valid reasons why this happens, and that once you understand some of the reasons why this can be going on, it will enable you to be able to surrender and work with the circumstances, tweak things if they need to be tweaked, so that you can trust yourself even when the guidance might be a little more quiet, or if there's something that you can tweak that is behind this radio silence, you can start to get the information flowing again. So that's what we're talking about today. Let's get started. Okay, so these first 3 reasons that I want to talk to you about why this could be happening. These are reasons that indicate a phase of your life that you are going through where guidance might become more quiet. The first phase would be an integration phase. So this is a phase of, I like to think of it energetically, it kind of feels like a settling phase. It's a phase of incorporation, of amalgamation, so like a process of combining or uniting. And one way that you can think of this is like sort of like a knowing something versus humaning or applying it. So maybe, for example, let's say that you have realized that when a certain trigger comes up in a relationship, a certain pattern you get thrown into a certain pattern that you're recognizing is not serving you, isn't really getting you where you want to be in your relationships. And you can know this. You can see it, you have a big aha, maybe you had some guidance or some synchronicities that brought on or that helped you to see this and reach this aha. And now you know it, but you need some opportunity to human it, to actually apply it, to let this knowing settle and integrate and become a part of your energetic system, so that now it is yours to act on and to act from. So when you're going through a period of integration, sometimes guidance can go a little more quiet. And this is because you need your energy to integrate, to actually slip into that role of a human, which we all are. And, sometimes as we pursue spiritual knowing and pursuits, we forget that we're humans, and we need time to actually unplug a little bit from other dimensions and the spiritual realm and to human. And so if you're going through an integration phase where you really need to lean into your humaning, your guides can take a step back to allow the space for you to do that. And that's a beautiful time period where they're actually learning so much from you too, learning what it's like to integrate these knowings, these lessons, this expansion as a human being. And of course, if you need support or comfort or love during those times, you can ask for it and you will absolutely receive it. But maybe the chatter itself, the messages, are going to be a little more quiet to allow you that space to integrate. So the second life cycle where this could happen would be an acclimation phase. And for me, these are related but slightly different. Acclimation feels slightly different than integration. So acclimation can be like a quantum leap, like a large energetic shift where you leapt into a whole nother energetic tapestry, a whole nother level. And I actually have a video that I'm gonna link below that might help you understand this acclimation and integration concepts a little bit better, called, let's see here, I think it's called, I feel like I'm taking 2 steps forward and 1 step back, what's actually happening. So I'll link that video below. Definitely give that one a watch to help this concept really be able to make good sense for you. But if you have made a huge leap in your expansion, you need time to acclimatize or settle to a new energetic climate. And during this time period, your guides might also take a step back and allow you to settle. So an example that you can think of is, let's say that all of a sudden your hearing became a lot more sensitive, a lot more acute. You need some time to adjust to that different sensory input, that way that your brain is translating the energy a little bit differently before you just turn on your same old radio station, or it might feel accosting. So you can also think about this with a lot of like superhero lore where, you have your average Joe who, suddenly comes upon superhero powers and he goes to, like shut the door and he has superhuman strength and he swings it so hard that the door flies off the hinges and breaks. So if you're going through one of those time periods where you've taken a huge quantum leap and your energy has really expanded, you're gonna need some space probably to acclimatize to that. And then your guides might step back a little bit and really allow you your full bandwidth to acclimatize, so then they can step back in and give you fresh advice, fresh guidance, fresh direction, and fresh energy to expand even further and really settle into this new energetic tapestry that you've landed yourself in. So that's another reason why guidance might go quiet. A third reason that is also sort of a life cycle reason would be personal stuff. So if you're going through a really tough time personally, I know that this sounds kind of counterintuitive, like why would messages go quiet when you're going through a really tough time? And this doesn't always happen, but sometimes it can happen. And this is because it's requiring all of your energy to stay present with the situation at hand. That guide chatter would actually be a hindrance and slow down your ability to cope or process or to have an important human experience. And it's almost like this would be a time where if you're going through a tough personal experience, and it would actually be to your benefit, to your growth, or help you get through that experience more quickly or efficiently, for you to kind of be able to just focus in, feel what's coming up, and feel into that human experience, your guides can take a little bit of a step back and you might receive fewer messages, or it might seem like there's a bit of radio silence. Again, though, with these 3 circumstances, these first 3 here that I've mentioned, integration, acclimation, or personal stuff, you're not doing anything wrong. The best way to handle these 3 scenarios is to surrender, to trust, and to let go. Know that your guides are still there. They're still holding space for you. They are still surrounding you. They might just be giving you a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of personal space, because it's actually for your benefit. And just because you might not be able to, however you experience your guides' messages, you might not be able to hear them, see them, feel them, know them, taste them, smell them, whatever your experience there is with how you connect with them. It doesn't mean that they're not there, and it doesn't mean that they're not surrounding you with comfort and love and support. And if there is a circumstance where them kind of punching through and getting through to you in one of these phases would dramatically help you, they will do that. They will absolutely find a way to get through to you. So you can relax and trust that it is safe for you to just be a human in these experiences. And that trusting, you're no longer in a place of resistance where you're pushing against the experience, and you will flow through it, and the guidance will circle back around to you much more quickly and with much more ease than if you try to fight it or second guess yourself or berate yourself for, or even your guides themselves for not being able to get through to you. So now I want to talk about different types of scenarios. So again, these first three, the antidote here, the medicine you want to take is surrender, trust, let go. If you need to feel comfort, love, if you need to feel held, ask for it. So this next set of circumstances, these are times that might require a little more active action on your part. If none of those three things feel resonant to you, and you don't feel like you're in a period of integration, acclimation, or a big personal life thing that's going on, one of these might be true to you. You can ask yourself, how's my meditation practice and how's my energetic hygiene practice? So energetic hygiene, this can mean some different things to different people, and I do plan on doing a more in-depth video or maybe even a course at some point in time specifically on energetic hygiene. But time in nature, giving yourself Reiki, running energy through your chakras, grounding, putting your bare feet on the ground, visualizing roots coming out and drawing in the earth energy, dancing, sacred sound. There's so many different ways to practice energetic hygiene, and meditation really in and of itself is a form of energetic hygiene. So have those practices kind of gotten pushed to the side because life happened? If that's a yes, then, and that information was coming through more clearly when you were actively engaging in these practices, then this is a call to come back to that center and really give yourself time to sit with yourself in meditation and clear your energy so that messages can come through more easily for you. So another thing to point out here on this same topic is, how's your consumption versus creation ratio? Are you consuming a lot of information, a lot of social media, a lot of television? Is it all consumption and not a lot of creation? Or alternatively, how's your consumption versus quiet or reflection time ratio? Sometimes when that ratio gets really out of balance, our guidance can't get through and it goes a bit quiet. So those are two ways that you can check in with yourself, where if either of those feel resonant and true for you, that is asking you to make some adjustments, to make some changes, and you will very likely, very quickly when you make these changes, notice that guidance comes in much more easily. If this is not the issue, then if you make changes here, it might not result in a lot of difference. And it's probably one of the first three scenarios that we talked about. So those last two are calling for you to change something. First three are calling for you to surrender and trust. So then I've actually kind of touched on this multiple times already, but I really want to make a point of driving home, are you asking your guides for support and assistance? There are times when I've talked with people who, are feeling frustrated because guidance isn't coming through. And I ask them, well, are you asking for support or assistance? Are you making time? Are you carving time to actually talk to your guides and ask? And the answer is no. There are times where we don't really have to ask, where guidance just comes through, and that's beautiful and that's great. And oftentimes I feel like that's in result to maybe something that we've asked at an earlier point in time, and it's sort of opened this gateway for a bunch of things to come through. And then maybe we haven't asked and we're expecting it to come. But of course, our guides respect and honor our free will. They're not like, some know-it-all friend or bossy older sister who's always trying to get up in your space and dictate to you the decisions you need to make and how you need to live your life. They absolutely respect your free will, and they will jump in and help and guide you when you ask for it. But if you're not asking, they might not be able to do that. So it's just a good opportunity to check in with yourself and ask if you've really been asking for that assistance, if you really want it. Or are you at a place where you say you want it, but you're kind of not really wanting guidance right now, which is totally okay. But it's just about having that self-awareness. And then when you are asking for guidance, it's about surrendering and not needing it to come in on your timetable and in a specific way that you're expecting. That's another reason is that we can feel like our guides have gone quiet, is because we have an expectation that we're going to be receiving a certain type of information, or that the information that we're going to be receiving is going to look a certain way. So releasing expectations is hugely important as well. Asking for that assistance, and then just surrendering and trusting that your guides are there to assist you, and that they will give you the exact information that you need at the exact right time for you. So a last thing also that I wanted to mention is when you're asking your guides for assistance, if you're asking a specific question and you're noticing that you're not really getting an answer, or the answer that you wanted about that specific question, or you're not noticing any synchronicities that are showing up that are validating your question or pointing you towards an answer, can also be an invitation to zoom out. So let's say maybe you're asking a specific question about a specific job and it just doesn't feel like you're getting any answers. Or your guides have just kind of gone on holiday or something. This is a great opportunity to zoom out. So maybe instead of asking a question about a specific job, you can ask, is this even the right job for me? Can you help guide me or help assist me with finding my passion or what makes me excited? Maybe just asking to receive and feel a little bit more love. So sometimes we're asking a question about something that is so specific and so narrow that the answer actually is lying outside of that narrow parameter of our question. And so if we broaden our question, then we can find the answer that we didn't expect. So that's another great tip for asking questions to your guides to be able to receive answers. The letting go of the expectation and zooming out. Sometimes it's helpful to ask really specific questions, but oftentimes making it a little more broad can help us to start to see our way in the dark and kind of find that path where then our questions can get more specific once we've sort of level set from a broader perspective. So that has been, in my experience, several reasons why guidance can go quiet, and specifically how you can address it in each of those circumstances so that you can get into a place of surrender, receptivity, and start to allow that information to start flowing back in. And trust yourselves at the times when it is quiet. I mean, none of us are on 100% of the time. We all need to have a human experience, and sometimes we need to step away from those other realms to allow ourselves to really delve into and the expansion and integrate and ground these esoteric concepts that might make sense on a higher level but haven't trickled into our physical DNA or makeup yet. So I hope that helps you guys and that it really encourages you no matter where you're at in your journey. I would love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know if you've experienced guidance going quiet, if you have any other reasons that you've noticed about why this can happen or ways in which you've dealt with it. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, subscribe and hit the bell button right by the subscribe button so that you get notified each time I post a new video. It's been such a pleasure connecting with you guys today. All the best. Until next time. Bye.